Hello everybody and welcome to another knockoff review. This one has been a long time in the making. I was expecting this around a month ago, but unfortunately China shipping managed to lose it, like you do, and thankfully TF Direct were able to get a refund their end and send out another one to me. Official, bootleg, official. Now I know I'm getting some shine and glare off of my lamps on these, but you can clearly see a difference in colouring as well. This being the bootleg, it's a kind of a murkier grey, if that's a thing, and it's just not as crisp, and the blacks are kind of lost in there as well. You can't really see the detailing as clearly as you can with the official. And another thing which is obvious from having these in hand, these are made on like a corrugated cardboard. The cardboard goes this way, it goes down vertically, whereas on the bootleg you can see the lines, they actually run horizontally, so it's printed horizontally as opposed to vertically. I believe, although in my opinion the gun looks slightly more offset on the bootleg, I think that is pretty much the same. The reds on the MP36 is much more vibrant on the official release, and we get a much thicker grey silver border surround on the official as well. It's a very murky grey. Again, I don't think the printer they used has the capability of producing a very nice grey. Sides of the box are much the same. Again, different colour reds, slightly different use of the silver outline, and the fact that they've got Transformers with an Autobot logo in, and these have Transformers with a Decepticon logo. Bit of a telltale sign. On the rear of the box, again, we have those differences in colour, and the photos are just more vibrant and crisp on the Takara version. On the other side, again, we have Transformers with the Autobot logo as opposed to the Decepticon logo. On the top of the box, again, the colours on the official are much more crisp and precise, whereas on this one we've got this darker red again, and the sparkles on Megatron's head are a lot more prominent of all things. On the bottom of the box, it all looks pretty similar. Again, just that big difference in shading. It's just a very dark print compared to the Takara version, and we also have much thicker lines being used for the symbols. And just opening up the flap of the lid, we actually get two stickers on either flap for the official, whereas the KO only has one. And just out of the cardboard, you can instantly see, yes, I know this is empty, but it's actually a lot lighter. This is more translucent. This one just seems to be very dull, as if it's been produced in kind of like a dirty factory. It's hard to pick up on camera, but this does have this kind of dirty, dull look to it. And here we have him finally out of the packaging. Now, he comes with very similar instructions and bio card to what we get with the official, again done in a slightly darker print. To the untrained eye, this just looks like an MP36. You know, it is pretty much exactly the same. Now, I do have at least two different versions of Megatron en route to me. We have the version which includes the English speaking canon, and we have back panel piece and slightly different shade of paint. And then we also get the Toy House Factory version, which has the G1 toy style face, etc. So I'm looking forward to getting those, and we'll see how they fare up against this as well. But this is the one-to-one knockoff of the official release, and straight out of the packaging, mine appears to have battle damage. I have marks on this arm and this arm in pretty much identical places, and I also have a mark across the top of his chest plate. I have been led to believe these aren't factory rejects from Takara. These are straight up bootlegs. They've got hold of the mold, or they've reverse engineered it. But yeah, I mean, these are the sort of things that they would have got chucked out for having a nasty sprue mark on there. We've got damage and markings along this part. That is an ugly looking back, isn't it? We've got sprue marks, sprue marks, sprue marks. Again, more marks around here. Paint chipping. And this is literally straight out of the packet. I've done nothing to him. This is how he has arrived. And the box was fully sealed. So this is how they think they can get away with making knockoff figures. Those, unfortunately, are very, very troubling. They just look very prominent, and you can't really hide those. The other ones aren't too bad. They don't bother me as much, but yeah, those, I don't understand how or why they would be there. Now, accessory-wise, he comes with the exact same accessories. We have the battle-damaged front chest piece. This is my favourite look for him, along with the battle-damaged Megatron face, the "I still function" face. We have the key to Vector Sigma. Nice bit of heft to that. We have the face, along with the face. We get the extension piece for the mace. We can chop and change. We have his sword, again with a nice big sprue mark on there, and sloppy paint applications around that handle. The gun, which Hot Rod staged for Megatron to kill Optimus so he could then take the Matrix. It was all staged. Hot Rod's behind it all. That has battle damage as well, apparently, and it would appear that we have some sort of hair or something under the paint. Lush. I don't know if I want to be able to get that off. No, that's under the paint there. Oh, lovely. Yeah, but yes, this is the gun. It does have the Masterpiece style pegs. Yep, does exactly what it says on the tin, but unfortunately it's just a little bit battered and worn. We have his Prime Mind Control helmet, where he controls the clone, and then we get the silencer piece with a nice big chip here, a chip here, one there, and we get a, that's at the stock? Is that the stock? And this is the silencer. I'm not a gunman, but yeah, I believe that is. But we've seen all of this before with official release. Right, here he is alongside the official MP36, and they're actually done in a different shade of grey. The KO has more of a silvery sheen to him, whereas the official figure is kind of a more of a matte grey. It's very slight, but it's definitely a difference, and the biggest difference that I can see is the glaring difference in the face sculpts. It would appear that the KO Megatron has gone out without his guy liner on. Megatron's got his going up and down, and yeah, KO Megatron hasn't. It's like he shaved his eyebrows off. He looks so different. And that's not just on the one sculpt. It's the same with all of those sculpts. No guy liner, completely different expression. And as you can actually see, the paint is a slightly duller shade on the official. This one's a little bit too crisp and bright. But other than those paint applications and the slightly different shade in paint used, having him in hand, it's still in essence a MP36 Megatron. And for those that can't afford an official model and have a Sharpie pen ready to paint in those eyebrows, it is a very, very close substitute. Right, articulation wise, it's all the same. I've tested the resiliences and resistance isn't that much different on any of these. Arm is probably a little bit stiffer on this joint and stiffer on that joint, so he does hold the weight up better. We have an upper thigh swivel. Bend on the elbow again is a little bit stiffer on the KO, but that may just be the sheer volume of layers of paint. We have wrist rotation, much the same. We have the MP10 style hands with that in through the center and the additional articulation on that trigger finger. We have the high-waisted trouser rotation there and a notable abdominal crunch. That's quite stiff as well. Hip skirts on the official release come up nice and fluidly, and we get a nice rotation on those legs. With the KO, these are very, very stiff, and I am slightly concerned about breaking this. It's ridiculously tight, and every time I try and maneuver this piece up, it just pulls everything out of place. So I could probably apply some heat to this, I think, and then I'll try it again. I'll do an update video if I manage to get these any more supple. But the legs do come up and back, out to the side. We get a nice bend on that knee joint, and going down to the feet again, we get forwards and backwards. We can tilt them left and right, but we don't get any rotation. So really, other than the tightness of the joints on those shoulders, he doesn't really stand out as having upgraded articulation as such. The hip skirts are causing me a problem, but he definitely holds his gun up with more ease than what the official one did. I mean, mine's probably just come loose over time, but I can't help but feel that the bicep joints are looser on my official release, and definitely those shoulder joints. Whereas this guy, you know, that's taken some pretty serious wiggling to get these joints out, so much so that it actually unpegs all of this mechanism before the shoulders move down a ratchet socket. The gun is pretty much identical. Again, slightly different shade used though. I don't understand why they're using different coloured paint. Maybe the reissue of Megatron has slightly different paint applications, and that's where they're getting these paints from. And having tried multiple sets of batteries, guess which one's the official? That's right, the official works with loads of different types of batteries that I've tried in there, and I cannot get the KO to work on any of the settings at all, which is awesome. Official Megatron weighs 443 grams. He's standing there, he's got his fusion cannon on him, he's got exactly the same face sculpt, we've got everything the same. And if we bring in KO Megatron, he weighs 439 grams. Now, I've tried this several times, it always comes up with the same answer. So I'm not really sure why he weighs less. Could it be the plastic consistency? Maybe it's a slightly different variation. And don't get me wrong, it's still a fun figure to mess around with, and it's still good to have a Megatron in your collection. It's just these small flaws that keep cropping up. But hey, at the end of the day, it's a knockoff and a fraction of the price that we pay for the TAKARA product. And here he is alongside MP10, which is also a knockoff. Now I'm going to get Megatron transformed up into his gun mode. I won't cover the transformation, it's exactly the same, but I will highlight if there are any glaring issues or problems that I encounter on this mold through the transformation that I didn't encounter with the original. Through the transformation, getting these pieces out of the thighs was ridiculous. They were incredibly tight. I actually had to pry them out with a screwdriver. That's not something you expect to do transforming a figure. They are just ridiculously tight. I could probably loosen that up, I'd imagine, by unscrewing that screw there, but just a warning to those who are transforming their Megatrons. Here we have Megatron in his gun mode. Trigger is still sprung. It's not bad, it holds together pretty nicely. It doesn't really want to tab in as fully as it should on the top here, but all in all it's quite a nice solid piece, and it feels nigh on exactly the same as the official, although we do have the paint scuffs, but this would easily pass as an official MP36 Megatron if you didn't know what to look for in those robot modes. And bring in stock and slide that down. I think that's the stock, isn't it? If it isn't, I apologise, but yes, that's holding on there quite nicely. Again, big lump of die cast goodness there. The idea is then to have this piece facing upwards, because that's where the gun slots in, and these here need to rotate. So you can grab them, rotate it, holding on to this piece, making sure that this is at the top, and they need to go all the way around so that these are now on the bottom and this piece is here. That should now slide in there nicely without getting all scratched up, and we push that in, and there we go. There we have it all transformed up. Let's just slide that back out again and see if it's caused any damage. Doesn't appear to have caused any damage. I'm not sure what twisting this segment around on the inside does, but apparently it stops it from rubbing. So there we go. There we have our MP36 Megatron. Still one of my favourite versions of Megatron to date, although the Weijing one is pretty much up there. But as a 1-to-1 copy, this isn't bad. It's not perfect. There are those telltale signs that I pointed out, but all in all, it's a very good alternative to the official. If, for example, you want to make a custom, or if you just want to display one in gun mode, one in bot mode, then nobody's going to know the difference. But do not try and sell these as an official figure when it is clearly not. I know a few people have been trying to do that on Facebook at the moment, selling KO figures as officials, and that's just wrong. Hopefully I'll have 2 more Megatrons to add to my MP comparison within the next month, hopefully getting those in before Christmas. Thanks again to TF Direct for making this review possible. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, which notifies you whenever I upload more bootleg content. And until next time, from myself and Megatron, thanks for watching, goodbye.